Welcome, dear listeners, to the Happenings podcast today. We unravel the chilling tale of Ruby Franke, a story that transforms from picture perfect to profoundly disturbing.
Preface. This is the only case I have never heard about, and within the last 2 weeks, it has blown up so much I have to avoid all of my podcasts and my YouTube channels.
I have barred her from information.
I can't. There's so many things I have to watch after this because I know nothing, and it's so everywhere right now.
So much because there's so much that happened in the case recently.
I had to beg you to do it today because I legitimately think that otherwise I will lose my mind because I can only watch Twin Peaks so many times in a row, and I love that show, but I am desperate.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay, so set the scene, okay? Be where we are. I know a lot of people have already heard about this case. It's very public and popular. So, okay, imagine a sunlit home in Utah where laughter echoes and family bonds appear unbreakable. This is the world Ruby Franke showcased to millions on her YouTube channel, 8 Passengers. So she was a YouTuber. She was like a family YouTuber.
Oh, she's a family vlogger.
Yes.
I don't like those people.
A lot of them are abusing their kids.
Also, how can your kids consent to being online? They're minors. They don't understand the concept.
I'm so glad that you said that because literally at the end of this, that ties in. So remember that. Remember that. So, with her husband Kevin and their 6 children, Ruby painted a portrait of domestic bliss that captivated viewers worldwide. So, a lot of popularity, a lot of traction very quickly, too. But she was popular in, like, that kind of sphere of, like, mommy vloggers, like, parenting tips, like, showing this happy family, like, super picture perfect.
Yeah.
And didn't have, like, anything that was, like, a red flag to people yet. Okay. But as the adage goes, not all that glitters is gold. Beneath the curated content lies whispers of concern. In 2020, murmurs grew louder. Ruby's parenting methods, once seen as strict, began to raise eyebrows. She spoke of withholding meals as punishment, a tactic that left many unsettled, and much more. This, in turn, welcomed into their ecosystem Jodie Hildebrand.
Oh!
Yeah! I am showing photos on a separate screen, which we will have probably right here.
She is something.
This is a very disclaimer. I'm not excited about the case. I also will be trying not to name many of the children in this case because I feel like that's unfair to them. They've already done a whole Hulu docuseries, which many of you may know, about this case where some of them were featured on it. So those are the people that I will mention. I am not mentioning any of like the younger children. They will just be called younger children. I'm not happy about the case in general. I'm just very excited to share this.
It's the only one I've never heard of.
Yeah.
She looks like a foot.
She does look
She's
like
an
a foot.
unfortunate
We can
woman.
talk as much shit about her as we'd like, because, yeah, she's a shitty person.
Well, I can tell by her outfit that those 2 are the ones that got caught.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was on purpose, because this is hilarious. Okay, so enter and welcomed into their ecosystem Jodie Hildebrand, a therapist with a reputation for unconventional methods. In their partnership under the banner of Connections, which Connections, like, spelled Connex, is a mental fitness and relationship coaching curriculum. So one of the, see your brain's like, it's really catching it. It's one of those. It's like very...
It's very health guru.
It's very like self-help, MLM. We want followers, so we'll prey on the like most vulnerable people. Kind of culty behavior.
Awesome.
Aimed to guide individuals towards personal growth. Yet, this alliance would soon cast a long, dark shadow over the Franke family. August 30th, 2023, a day that shattered the facade.
Okay, August 20th, 2023. So this is 2 years ago by the time we're filming it?
Mm-hmm. And more happened like before this, but it's in here, but it's just, some of it's out of order, some of it's not, because the use case of it makes sense together. In August 2023, a harrowing incident involving Ruby Franke's 12-year-old son brought to light severe child abuse within the Franke household.
Ooh, 12? That's young.
12.
That's a baby.
On August 30th, 2023, the boy escaped from Jodie Hildebrandt's residence in Ivins, Utah, and sought help from a neighbor.
Oh, wait, no. I heard about this. I just didn't know this was the case.
And I figured that much, so I was like, I'm not going to say a word.
Oh.
Because they seem like multiple different cases, which technically they are, but they're in the same ecosystem.
I remember this coming out in 2023 and, like, hearing the bits and clips. I just never, like, investigated further than that.
Yeah, because it stayed, while it sent, like, shockwaves through, like, the YouTube community, it stayed kind of hush-hush because they really couldn't make sense of what was happening between the two.
Probably.
And also, like, their enmeshment. Because their relationship is a little bit weird. He sought help from a neighbor. Now, he was at Jodie Hildebrandt's, like, residence because they were all at Jodie Hildebrandt's residence because Ruby was living there with all the kids. She had this, like, giant mansion because they had this big thing with connections, and it blew up, basically.
So they were making a bunch of money, so they lived together as a convent. Okay.
Here's the thing, it's still alleged that they were partners, both sexually and, like, romantically, but she is married at this time. Ruby Franke is married to Kevin Franke. Yeah. So, it's, I didn't dive into that a lot, because you guys should put your theories down, because that's just some tea that is just alleged. But... So he sought help from a neighbor. He escaped. The neighbor described the boy as emaciated with duct tape around his wrists and ankles and visible wounds.
Oh, God.
The neighbor immediately contacted 911, expressing urgency due to the boy's dire condition. Now, the neighbor on the 911 recordings and, like, body cam footage, he was hysterically crying at the sight of this boy. And to my knowledge, in my research, like, he knew the Franke family, like, he knew of them, like, around there, but the boy did travel extremely far to get to that neighbor's house.
Like, they had, like, a big property.
Yes, giant. So, responding officers entered Hildebrandt's home and discovered the boy's 9-year-old sister in a dark closet. She appeared malnourished, with her head shaved, and was initially unresponsive to police efforts to coax her out, remaining in the closet for approximately 4 hours.
Oh my gosh. Poor kid.
She was stunned, couldn't move, didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't know if she would get in trouble more, like, couldn't do anything. So both children were transported to the hospital for treatment. The boy was treated for severe malnourishment and deep lacerations, while the girl received care for similar signs of prolonged abuse. Now some extras. The boy reported that Hildebrandt had used rope to bind his limbs to weights and treated his wounds with cayenne pepper and honey.
Oh, do not put that in your wounds. I mean, honey's probably not going to do anything. It's antiseptic, but, like, not to
cayenne pepper was like, definitely more punishment.
Yeah. That's a punishment.
And basically, like, to give you, like, a visual of that, it was like almost like a paper towel, like, situation with the honey and the cayenne pepper that would just be dressed
so
around.
That means that the cayenne pepper's on the wound. It's not even just honey, cayenne pepper, and then paper towel. It's cayenne pepper.
On it. So their skin, you could see, was stained with, like, the, like, color that cayenne pepper would leave behind.
That orangey red tone.
Yep. These events led to the arrest and conviction of Ruby Franke and Jodie Hildebrandt on multiple counts of aggravated child abuse.
Yeah.
The community, however, grappled with disbelief. How could a mother revered by millions betray the very essence of parenthood? As legal proceedings unfolded, more unsettling details emerged. Ruby maintained handwritten journals, meticulously documenting months of abuse.
Okay, BTK.
A chilling testament to her state of mind, this 60-page document, heavily redacted, was released as part of the evidence by the Washington County Attorney's Office. And in the Hulu docuseries Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke, a police investigator reads
You want to sip your coffee?
Yes.
I think that's a good one. Look at these mugs.
Reads excerpts from these entries. One such entry describes a punishment where a child's head was shaved and forcibly submerged in a toilet, causing pain.
would that be for?
That's how she did punishment. She believed in punishment. She was super religious, so Connections was like very religious leaning. There you go. So like their belief system at their core like believed that these children like had demons in them and were evil and were trying to like exorcise them, and that they needed punishment to be good upstanding citizens like before the Lord and before like the world.
That's such a sad misconstruing of any version of the Bible.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm assuming they're, by religious, you mean Christian of a sort?
I think they were Mormons.
I think Mormons consider themselves Christians. I don't think all Christians consider Mormons Christian.
Yes.
But even with the Mormon Bible, which I don't fully agree with, that's pretty intense.
Oh, she lost herself in the sauce. As soon as Ruby Franke had already shown signs of like being like a strict parent, but it was a very stereotypical strict parent. As soon as she got into Connections and like became that voice and like that self-help coach and like had Jodie in her ear, it got way worse. Manipulation got worse. She went down such a dark path. Not excusing her at all. She's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But so is Jodie Hildebrand. But like she got the power feeling, so she felt vindicated in what she was doing. That was right, and that it was also before God, so it was like amazing.
On a little side note, but I think you'll find this as interesting as I found it originally, I was doing a research study for school on criminology, and it's been documented that for some reason, and I say some reason as if it has no reason, it's well known why the reason is, cults that are run by men lean sexual, specifically towards younger children, most likely. Cults run by women are all about wrath.
Yeah.
And they think the reason this is because historically women don't have power, so when we get a lot of power, we get angrier. Again, not every woman's going to do this. It's every single person, no matter what group you're part of, there's at least one piece of shit in it. But it's interesting that cult leaders, being cult leaders, wanting power, wanting to hurt people, women will lean towards wrath and men lean towards lust.
Here's the funny part about that, directly ties into this case. So that is why Kevin Franke is not in the house with Jodie Hildebrand's house, and why Ruby Franke is with Jodie Hildebrand, because Jodie Hildebrand's whole thing, like, she would have this message, right, that she was, like, portraying in the Connections group, but her whole thing was, like, really hating on men, because the whole community kind of, allegedly thinks that she is a lesbian and she just hates men, and she's trying to get all these women to like leave their husbands or have problems with their husbands and isolate from their husbands because she really hates men.
Interesting.
Yes. So they all went to live with Jodie Hildebrand, and Kevin was like cast aside, absent from the whole situation, but I don't like him.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, he let his kids go through this.
This is the thing, because he allowed, like, this manipulation to happen and fall into this trap and, like, all of this. And I know there was some manipulation, like, on him, but being absent and, like, not around your kids for hella long and, like, knowing things and her still putting out vlogs and shit and, like, them getting progressively, like, worse and, like, all of this shit. Not a good look for him. Not a good look for Kevin. Sometimes the mask is on, people, and you should look beyond the mask. You should always question things. But continuing. Additionally, CBS News reported that Franke and her business partner, Jodie Hildebrand, convinced Franke's two youngest children that they were evil, subjecting them to manual labor, prolonged fasting, and conditions described as concentration camp-like.
Poor babies.
These journal entries provide a chilling insight into the systemic abuse orchestrated by Franke, ultimately leading to her conviction. Now, we're going to take a short intermission. I'm going to play a video that I cannot play here that I will have linked below, and we'll be right back.
Wow.
Do you need more time?
No, I'm just like, it
gets you like
that
wild,
is
right?
way more.
Yep.
Seeing like the closet, like, actually
closet.
Yeah, it's actually a closet.
You're thinking like maybe it's like the big walk-ins, or maybe it's like a shoe closet.
Yeah, no, it's small, even for a 9-year-old, and to have it where the abuse that you did not mention, that is That's monstrous. Like, that...
She's disgusting.
Yeah.
And you could only imagine how long it's been going on. Also,
and
that I'm not going to add in here,
and that's not the redacted part, which means there's redacted parts that we're not supposed to know, which means it's probably worse.
It's really bad. The whole transcript's online. It's disgusting. The son, too, he lost his entire bedroom for 6 months and had to sleep on a beanbag.
Oh, when she took the door.
Mm-hmm.
I do know a little bit about this case.
I know. It's
That's the same lady?
Exactly. That's the same lady. Because when she was on her YouTube channel, he's like, yeah, I lost my room for 6 months. And she's like, I don't think our viewers know that. And she kept the video and she posted it. And that really turned some people and were like, what do you mean? He slept on a beanbag for 6 months.
It was after he played a prank on his little brother, right?
I think it was something like very minute, or he didn't want to listen to her about something and he lost it for 6 months. And then in the video she threatens him again to be like...
To take it away longer.
I
think what the video was, and I could be wrong, I might be splicing two videos together in my brain because I recognize her face now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 6 months without doors because he told his brother they were going to Disneyland and they weren't.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then he's like, yeah, it was kind of funny. And she's like, oh, if you still think it's funny, maybe you should have
it longer. Yeah. Yep. And she required him to have daily, like, multiple times a day therapy sessions with Jodie Hildebrandt to get the evil out of him.
So
sending
the abused child from one abuser to another abuser who historically does not like men, this male child.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Isn't that cool?
Great parenting all the way around. Seems like a smart choice.
So, during the period leading up to Ruby Franke's arrest in August 2023, her husband, Kevin Franke, was notably absent from the family home and the events that transpired. And here is a small little glimpse of what he was up to during these times, after these times, and I still don't think that, like, his part in it is, great. But that's just my opinion.
I do love the label of dumbass husband. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, in 2021, Kevin and Ruby Franke began attending counseling sessions with Jodie Hildebrandt. So this is just like kind of a couple background because I don't really talk about them as a unit more than I talk about like the kids and her and what she did. So I feel like this gives more of a whole picture. Hildebrandt advised Ruby to separate from Kevin, leading to his departure from the family home. This separation resulted in Kevin being largely unaware of the subsequent abuse actions taken by Ruby and Hildebrandt towards his children.
Yeah, because he wasn't around his kids to see it.
Mm-hmm. And then he was just barred, but he was barred in a way that he thought he was doing the right thing by helping her heal and being like not the evil in her life that's making her life horrible and like hurting the kids. Due to the separation and limited contact with his family, Kevin was unaware of the abuse occurring within the household. He was not present during the time of the incidents that led to Ruby's arrest and was not charged in connection with the child abuse case. Following Ruby's arrest, Kevin took decisive steps to protect and support his children. Custody and legal proceedings, he sought, was awarded full custody of their 4 minor children. Additionally, he filed for divorce in 2023, which was finalized on March 20th, 2025.
So,
that was
this exact month.
Okay. Like 9 days ago.
Wow. Alright.
Kevin advocated, this goes back to what you said earlier, Kevin advocated for legislative changes to protect children featured in online content.
Yeah.
His efforts contributed to the enactment of a Utah law in March of 2025 that allows adults who appeared in online content as minors to request its removal and mandates that parents set aside a portion of the earnings for the children's future use.
Which is what they do for
child actors.
Yeah. That rule should have just extended.
Isn't this crazy that it didn't exist? That didn't exist. That wasn't a thing. They could just siphon
does
children.
Does our state have it? Okay, sorry, I have to...
Yeah, no, look it up. Yeah, no.
Okay, we do have a new law. In California, new law, AB 1880 and SB 764 protects children vloggers by expanding the cooling law to include minors employed by content creators. So we just took our law of, which makes sense because we have Hollywood, so we have the most children actors, and we just expanded it to children vloggers.
Well, good. I would have been shocked if we didn't have that.
I don't know. Sometimes we screw up. We're a big state. We've made mistakes.
So, that got enacted, which is very cool. But very kind of like ridiculous. You would think it was already like a thing. Did you just stick your finger in fire? Ah, yes. Okay, so in the Hulu docuseries, Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke, Kevin expressed his continued complex feelings towards Ruby. Mm-hmm. This baffles me. I want to have empathy and understand. But there's a big part of me that's like crazy because there's children involved that are his children. Yeah. I feel for it, and they're not even my kids. So it's emotional potpourri. I don't understand. Put your comments below what your take is. And he expressed, quote, "I'm not ashamed to say that after being married over 20 years to that woman, I truly did and still do love her. But that doesn't excuse what she did, and it doesn't excuse how she hurt our children and how she hurt me. I'm going to do what's best for my children, for my family, and for myself, and that's not going to include her."
Okay.
Kevin Franke's actions post-arrest reflect his commitment to his children's well-being and his efforts to rectify the harm caused during his absence.
Mixed feelings. I understand the mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings. I'm proud that he's like distancing and separating and like that, and has taken that route, not trying to like talk to her in prison and all that, because he could be that person. But like, I don't know. I feel like someone dropped the ball there.
It's
hard
for me to understand the being okay with not being in your kid's life. I think it might,
especially when you have so many of them,
and there's little still.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. It's very.
I feel like he was brainwashed. I feel like he was very brainwashed.
Yeah.
Into the like religious culting, then thought he was doing well.
Which is weird because Mormonism is like very male dominated. This is a interesting subsect of the Mormonism.
She really got in there.
Yeah, I could she figured out her way, but that's intense.
December 18th, 2023, Ruby pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. Her sentencing on February 20th, 2024, delivered 4 consecutive terms of 1 to 15 years, a potential maximum of 60 years behind bars. Jodie Hildebrandt followed suit, pleading guilty on December 27th, 2023, and received an identical sentence. Okay. The ripples of this case extended beyond the courtroom. In March 2025, Utah enacted legislation to protect children featured in online content, just as a summary of all the recent things that have happened, ensuring they have a say in their digital presence and a share in any earnings. And in March 20th, 2025, Kevin and Ruby Franke's divorce was finalized. Kevin gained full custody of their 4 minor children. There are 2 older children that they were featured in the Hulu docuseries. They have shared their thoughts and their experiences as much as they'd want to. If you'd like to, go watch that. I won't echo the things that they have said because I know that one of them kind of just wants to be done with everything.
Yeah.
So if you want those stories and that insight, Hulu is your best friend. Go there to see that. The tale of Ruby Franke serves as a haunting reminder. The images we consume online are but fragments, often concealing more than they reveal. And that's pretty much it.
That is wild. And it's still going.
It's still going. There's still things that they're finding out on the abuse, and like there's location things, there's things about the cult, people coming forward who are part of connections and how. Were more people
living there than just her and Jodie, or was it like multiple families?
It was just her, Jodie, and the kids. As far as I'm aware,
we'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah,
there'll be updates if need be. We can make shorter little add-on videos to connect to this if need.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any questions?
How did this just not? I mean, granted, like YouTube is you only see what people want you to see. I mean, our videos.
That's the funny thing.
Swear way more in our videos than I think you put in, but it's
people have gone back and tracked videos and actually have made reaction videos of spliced parts from their videos, and there's a lot of red flags, and they were just there open in sight, and those red flags are visible, and that's with it being tailored.
And I mean, I understand, I don't think anyone else besides you might know, but do you remember the Try Guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Try Guys, I recently went back to go watch all of these videos because I go on sprees of I couldn't watch any of my murder videos, so I was watching Try Guys,
and you can see it,
and watching as Ned, who's a guy who got kicked out of Try Guys, because he cheated on his wife
Adultery.
with his
Coworker.
not even
His
coworker.
underling.
Yeah, because he was the boss. Like, so that's also a form of like you're not allowed to do that because it's against HR policies in every company in the entire world.
Yeah.
Or at least where I live. And like going back and seeing these videos of like, oh yeah, this is way more obvious. Like the whole 2020 vision is real.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go and watch this Hulu documentary.
It's crazy. There's so much more information just from their personal accounts that I didn't include in here for those reasons.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I recommend it. To get like a full scope of everything, I recommend like in tandem listening to this, watching that, kind of consume any of it if you're interested in the case like I was.
I think this is a good introduction for a lot of people. I don't think the people who are watching our video currently will have any clue of what this is.
Which would make me happy because there you go. This is your beginning tale. And then you can like bite and dive into all the other forms of media because there's a ton right now. It's a lot to weed through. And the case is still ongoing even though they are convicted and arrested and in jail right now. But there's just more. And you'll see there's more little bits of information that aren't confirmed yet that are just alleged. So I didn't include them, but there's just
I think even like when Dahmer was originally arrested, like it took a couple years of him being in prison before more things came out. Same with the Night Stalker and my least favorite, BTK. When he first got arrested, he was arrested on one crime, and then as time went on, they connected him to all the other crimes. Also, he's the dumbest one. We'll eventually do his case.
All right. Well,
I can't wait for you to do an update on this to me.
It's gonna. I'm thrilled. I hope there's no more like abuse findings or anything deeper.
I just want her to have a terrible life from
now on. I hope it's worse on her. I hope she gets like an extended sentence or they find more things because there's more things with like connections itself and other people involved in that. And I want to hear their stories.
Maybe she'll get jaundice and then we can just watch her turn into like a highlighter slowly.
That would be awesome.
Well, it was lovely seeing you guys.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadows. Until next time, stay vigilant, question the narratives laid before you. This has been the Happenings Podcast, where dark folklore meets true crime and the crows never forget.